So in maybe the most famous scene of all of Halo 2, Master Chief takes a bomb down an elevator shaft to a room. Now this room is completely inaccessible to players, but what if there was a way to actually get into Halo 2's most famous cutscene room? Let's give it a shot! So in Halo 2, every cutscene that you see uses in-game assets, which means that every room that's used for a cutscene actually exists in the game. Now this room on Cairo Station is at the bottom of the map and it's pretty inaccessible to players. Additionally, there's 2 thick glass panels you can't get through and a 2-foot ledge right below it. So there's not really a good way to get to this from the outside. So the only way to get to this room really is to be dead, but also alive at the same time. In Halo 2, there's a really strange glitch called the Dead or Alive where you can essentially get 2 players to merge into the same body, and using this glitch, you can have a player that's actually alive, but their physical 3D model is dead. But the steps to do it are a little bit tricky, and it's super inconsistent because it's breaking the game's physics. Okay, so the first step in this after you boot up Cairo Station is you need player 1 to go and get weapons off the wall to the left side. Then you need to wait for the train car to completely leave the station and the doors to close behind it. Now our second step in this is to merge these 2 players together. So player 1 needs to kill player 2 and then stand on a ledge that prohibits the other player from spawning back into the game. This is what is called a pinch. And if we beat down and jump at the same time up until the point at which we're standing on this ledge, player 2 won't spawn in. And from this point, we need to restart the mission. Then player 1 needs to do the exact same thing again and pick up weapons off the wall and kill player 2. But this time, player 2 needs to shoot player 1 after they respawn back in with a weapon up until the point in which they die. If done correctly, player 2 will then spawn in as player 1's character model, and both players will technically be merged. Okay, I am successfully player merged right now. But because of this, you can only have 1 player actually look around and 1 player can move. So with a second player, I'm actually going to move forward through the mission doing this. So when player 2 spawns into player 1's body, player 2 is the only one that can move forward, backwards, left, or right, and player 2 is the only one that can shoot. So right now, you can see I have 2 different inputs right here. The controller is able to move the movement, and the mouse is able to move the gun. So the end result makes getting through the actual mission really difficult. But luckily, there are a bunch of checkpoints along the way, and if we mess up, we can just revert checkpoints. And even then, it's still a little bit wonky. So like when I'm moving forward, it's actually moving me left and right. This glitch tends to get a little bit goofy and will just spawn you back at the beginning of the mission, even after doors have closed. So it's really important that you revert to the last checkpoint if anything is messed up. I can't walk forward. This is so hard. I don't... Jesus. Okay, I actually... I'm just gonna have to figure out a way to do this. So after a couple of minutes, I had only made it past the first hallway, and even then, I'd failed to get up the stairs 3 separate times, so I needed to figure out how to actually do this more effectively. And then I realized, okay, so player 2 is responsible for movement and can look around, so this person can easily just walk me through the mission, but any weapon that I shoot, I'm shooting technically with player 1, but I'm aiming with player 2. So the end result is what looks like a bunch of desynced headshots and kills. I'm actually killing this elite, but I'm not hitting him on my other screen. You see, I just killed an elite right there. So I realized that I really only needed player 1 to just shoot the trigger and keep the screen level so I'm not looking at the ceiling through the entire mission, so you guys don't have to suffer. All right, this is kind of OP. I got a checkpoint. This is insane. When I zoom in on my HUD, this is all that happens. I don't even zoom in. Don't worry, guys, I'm killing enemies. At this point, I was about halfway through the mission, and I'd gotten my 3rd checkpoint. And then it happened. I set off the trigger that loaded me back into the beginning of the mission. Why, I don't know. And then I didn't listen to my own advice and revert to the previous checkpoint once I'd messed this up. Somehow now I'm at the beginning of the mission again. I'm still player merged, which is good, but now I have to walk back through everything again. But the door to actually proceed through the mission to get to the end cutscene room, yeah, it's closed. So I had to redo all of this again. Okay, I got a checkpoint that time. I don't know why. This door is now closed, so the checkpoint wasn't good. So I got to restart this now. So I realized in doing this the first time, I actually kind of messed up the setup a little bit. So after restarting the mission, once the pinch is stuck before you actually kill the player a second time and then have them kill you, what you should do once you restart the mission is have player 2 pick up the weapons, kill player 1, then player 1 kills player 2. That way, it works more consistently. They are going to kill player 1. Then once player 1 spawns in, they're going to shoot the other player with their weapons. And if done correctly, you will now be in a player merge. Dude, using a controller to BR is insanely easy. I barely have to aim. PC players are right, dude. It is actually so much easier to aim on controller. And by PC players, I mean me. So after about 15 minutes, I was back to the place that I was previously, and all I needed to do was wait for this door to open and proceed to the next section and see if I loaded in the beginning of the mission again, or if I did this successfully. Dead or Alive is the weirdest glitch in all of Halo 2, and it's led to so many possibilities, so thank you, MisterMonopoli. Thank you, Harc The Shark. These guys are amazing trailblazers. Like, honestly. Also, Dr. Bizz. Dr. Bizz is a great guy to watch on YouTube. He has so much good stuff. He's been uploading videos for like 20 years. I love it. Okay, so we're continuing through the mission. We got a checkpoint, which is awesome. Just what we needed. Oh, that's not good. We went back to the previous load point, so we're going to go to the last checkpoint again. And we're going to try to power through this part. Okay, it looks like we're having a little bit of issues here. So this just wasn't working, and I had a sneaking suspicion that the left door might be the reason for the load zone trigger. So I decided to try the right door instead. Okay, I managed to activate on the other side. The left doorway, if you're coming in, does not work correctly. So after about 10 more minutes, I was finally at the end of the mission and ready to do this glitch. I just had one last step. I had to get absolutely crushed by heavy machinery. Okay, so now we are going to go to this weird thing right here, and we're actually going to go try to get blasted and killed by it. So because we have 2 players in one, once one player dies, the person that is technically dead will fall through the map into the room if done correctly. Now we want to die. Okay, so one player is now dead, but technically alive. And actually, I didn't make it in the room. So when getting crushed by this machinery, there's a chance that you actually get pushed through the wall and outside of the map. We need to get one successful attempt inside of the room, and then the first player will then spawn on the dead player that is still technically alive. I'm just going to let this thing kill me. And once I die, I should be in the cutscene room below, but sometimes you die in ether and you actually fall out of the station completely. Looks like I did fall in the room this time. Ooh. Ooh, did I make it in? Yes! I made it in this time. You can see, here's my dead player. Technically still alive. But we are in the final cutscene room of the mission Cairo Station in Halo 2. And the perspective is, oh my dude, there's a carrier going right by. That's sick. In the Halo 2 anniversary graphics, obviously this looks pretty awful. There's actually a whole elevator over here, so you can actually get into that elevator shaft. Use this a little bit differently. There we go. There we go. Can't really get in that ledge, but I'm gonna try to get around this. Boom. Get on top of this. Bam. Am I the first person to ever get on this ledge in Halo 2? Probably not, but I might be in the top 10. I love how they really detailed this red button there. And soak it in, guys. Soak it in, because after this, I'm going to show you the actual cutscene. I love how my shadow is just a pixel. My shadow is literally like 12 pixels. I look like some sort of droid from Star Wars. Yeah, that's a droid. That's a droid running from Star Wars. There's literally no contesting that. Okay, we're watching. Okay, there he goes. He's going down the elevator. That was the doorway that you saw that we weren't in.
Unfortunately for us both, I like crazy.
Yes. That was the doorway. That was the, we were just in this room. That's where he brings the bomb. This dude's nuts. Hey, that was probably the really detailed light we just saw there. Yeah, it was. That was the detailed light. I knew it.
What if you miss?
Yes. Let's go, G. My favorite line in all of Halo. Fuck yeah. This is the moment that won me over as a kid. It looks like the coronavirus. This is great. Why is a quarter of my screen gone? The Dead or Alive removes like so much of your screen. Look at